Good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Jessica Blum here, joining you in the 1011 Alert Center to talk about what a warm day it was across the state. Record highs were set in many locations. Lincoln was not one of those, but several locations from here along I-80 into southwest Nebraska. I'm going to share with you some of those new records set and how old some of those records were. Really, though, I hope you got outside and enjoyed some of the weather, whether it was shedding a layer. I know I wore a lighter coat into work today. Whether you washed the car maybe finally or went out for a walk, maybe opened up the windows. I know it was windy at times during the day. I wanted to show you some of the peak wind gusts from today because I think we'll see a decent breeze tomorrow too, kind of reinforced out of the north. And with some cloud cover, I think that could make Friday really feel slightly cooler toward the weekend. So today was the day to enjoy, and then I'll tell you about when that warm weather is set to peak here in the near future. But as for your weather headlines, well, there's the answer for you. The third bullet will be near record warmth next Monday as well. So not only are we going to talk about the record highs today, we'll talk about potentially setting a record high even in Lincoln this upcoming Monday. Between those today and Monday, really expecting still mild weather, above average temperatures to persist, but mild weather into this, dry weather into this weekend as well. Not a good chance for any meaningful precipitation for the next several days until maybe the middle and end of next week. But what a beautiful day in talking about this weather for Carmela to take the weather shield out. We want to thank Addison Meyer for having us out to Crete Elementary. Look at all those kiddos lined up, and some without coats because it was nice enough for that, but they were very excited to learn more about the weather. The weather shield, if you didn't know, we have gone to a school every day this week. I think we may set a new record. We've got 2 school visits tomorrow, so that'll be about 6 in 5 days' time. Carmelo and I will be taking the weather shield out tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon to hit a couple area schools, and we'll try to share those pictures with you tomorrow evening as well, because of course we love to give a shout out to all these elementary school students interested in the weather. They've got bright futures ahead of them and hoping they all have a great school year. And I know I've been talking to a lot of teachers that are wanting me to tell them that there's a snow day in the near future for them, or at least until maybe this school year is over. Between now and then, maybe a couple more. So we'll hope for that for them. But while we're sharing pictures, I did just want to show you and wish Brad, Bill, Brandon, Carmelo, all a happy National Weather Person's Day. That is always celebrated every year on February 5th. So if you haven't shown your favorite weather people some love today, be sure to go to their social media pages. Thank Brad, thank Brandon, thank Bill, thank Carmelo for all they do as we all collectively as a team work to keep you safe here in the state of Nebraska. We know a severe weather season will be here before you know it. I don't think we're done with the winter weather for the year just yet either. So we are there to share everything in between with all the weather that Nebraska can see to make sure that you are on top of it with us as soon as we know it in the Severe Weather Center. So again, want to wish them a happy National Weather Person's Day. I wanted to say thank you to all the people that have shown me some love on social media throughout the day. A lot of coworkers commenting on a post that I had and viewers that are just very grateful for the work we do. And I can't tell you what that means to us as we read a lot of those comments. But now as we get into it today, and as you join me just past 8 o'clock on February 5th, here's a look at your high temperatures across the state Thursday, February 5th. You kind of got to remind yourself the calendar day. Where are we? Should we be experiencing weather this warm? Well, again, it was enough to set some records in locations. Again, not in Lincoln, but 66 degrees. We have not been that warm since you got to go back almost a full month. January 7th of this year, we got to 66 degrees and matched that temperature. I think everyone remembers that day in the back of their mind. I think that was the warmest of January altogether. But now we're early into February and we're already experiencing 70s in some spots in south central and southwestern Nebraska. 71 for a high in Lexington and McCook. Want to give a shout out to Lexington. They'll be what we'll be featuring on Our Town, Nebraska and on Pure Nebraska all next week, February 9th through the 13th and 14th with a special segment, especially on the 14th. So stay tuned for that. But very warm day across the state. And here's a few of those locations that did manage to set new record highs today. Grand Island managed to get up to 65 degrees. Their old record was 65 back in 1909. So that was an old record to break. Hastings, the old record, 66 degrees. They did manage to get to 69, beating an old record from 2009. Look at North Platte, 70 degrees today, enough to beat out an old record from 1904. Again, Lincoln, Omaha did not set new records, but we were within record territory. Lincoln, it was only a degree that we were off of a 1938 record. So Omaha not far off either from 1999, getting to 64 degrees. But I think we may have a better shot, at least in Lincoln, by Monday with more widespread 60s and upper 60s in the forecast by the end of this weekend and early next week. Until we get there, though, we'll take a look at your weather almanac to share with you our low temperatures today. We're in the 20s. On both ends of the spectrum, we were really above average, but yes, our average high should be 38 degrees at this time of the year. So can't stress enough how much I was enjoying the warm weather today. Hopefully you were too, cracking the windows as much as you could, rolling the windows down on the way to wherever you had to get to in the car. Again, we did see 1/100th of an inch out of some drizzle not too long ago, but we have yet to see much precipitation this month, and I do have the latest drought monitor to share with you here later on in our stream this evening. But taking a live look outside from our Skyview cameras, we have mostly clear skies really across the state. There isn't much to look at. We do have quite the temperature disparity, or it has been quite the temperature disparity between the airport and our Tempest station here at the 1011 studio. We were in the 50s last hour. Now we've dipped into the upper 40s, but the Lincoln Airport has been reading in the lower 40s for quite some time. The winds have calmed down. We'll expect pretty calm winds overnight tonight, but those winds will pick up again by tomorrow morning. And when I talk about the temperature disparity, this is what I mean. Some areas are still in the lower 50s across town, just around 80-07 tonight. So the Lincoln Airport reading a little bit colder. I noticed some areas down to the south as you look across southeast Nebraska are reading a little colder too. Beatrice at 41. I say colder in air quotes because it's cooler than our afternoon highs. But, and all relative, of course, to what's kind of surrounding the area, but we'll take 40s in the evening at this time frame. We're still above average, or still above our average high at this time of night as the sun has gone down. Some are still close to 50 degrees. Yeah, there are still some 50s too, not only in town, but also Imperial's at 53 degrees at this point, 45 in Chadron. Some have slipped into the upper 30s, looking at Thedford and Alliance. Of course, again, with the higher elevation, the Sandhills out west, they can see a bigger temperature range due to the elevation change out that way. But winds throughout the state are around 10 miles per hour, if not less. And out of the west, again, there will be kind of a passing boundary tonight that will increase the cloud cover tomorrow and reinforce some northerly winds. Your peak wind gusts from today were around 30 to almost 40 miles an hour. Of course, a little bit higher winds in portions of western Nebraska, but we did have a peak wind gust in Lincoln of 31 miles per hour. So it wasn't quite as nice. I would have liked to say that today was a top 10-11 day, but I don't think we quite got there with the wind. If the wind was a lot lighter, then I think it would have been a near picturesque day for a top 10-11 day for sure. But there you see satellite radar over the last 4 hours, maybe a few passing clouds in the state as a whole. More clouds off to our east in Iowa. That is just about it. Again, we are not expecting precipitation in the near future, and that does include tonight into tomorrow morning, even with the cloud cover increasing. You'll look at a lot of eastern, north central Nebraska by 7 a.m., waking up to some more clouds spilling in from the north, and it may take some time to really see those clouds break apart and go away. I hesitate that we'll see a lot of sunshine in the afternoon, so I'll say we'll err on the side that clouds will try to linger for much of the afternoon, though we could be turning partly cloudy at times and eventually mostly clear in some spots by tomorrow night. But you'll notice that cloud deck tries to hang on. This is one of those models that tries to keep it hanging on, at least into central Nebraska, by Friday night and into early Saturday. But again, no real meaningful precipitation to come out of any of those clouds. I did also want to mention that we do have a flood watch issued by the National Weather Service along the Elkhorn Loop and Platte rivers in areas of east central Nebraska and northeastern Nebraska. This will be in effect through the weekend until Monday evening. Ice jams could lead to a rapid rise in water. In fact, I wanted to give you the more specific details from the National Weather Service and what they said on this flood watch. Again, it is in effect for portions of east central, northeast, southeast Nebraska, including east central Nebraska. Okay, we said that. Butler, Dodge, Douglas, Sarpy, Saunders, and Washington counties. Antelope, Colfax, Cumming, Madison, Pierce, Platte, and Stanton counties, and Cass counties in southeast Nebraska. So when you are under the flood watch, you're likely one of those people that know that the ice can break apart as the weather gets warmer, and it can lead to ice jams in spots and rapid rise in water and maybe fluctuations in the water level by as much as 1 to 3 feet over a very short time period. And even though we have yet to observe that, this is what the National Weather Service is saying, several consecutive days of highs well above freezing in the 40s to mid 60s suggest that we are expecting breakup to happen along the river, and movement is almost a guarantee. It's imminent. We're just kind of waiting for it at this point. So keep that in mind if you do especially live in some of those low-lying areas closer to those rivers. Again, the Elkhorn, the Loop, and the Platte rivers. This will be in effect until Monday evening. So I just want to get some of that information out there, even though it doesn't really affect a lot of us here in Lincoln. We do have some precipitation potential showing up now on this map for the next 7 days. So this goes from today into February 12th. And now portions of central Nebraska, southern Nebraska, right around I-80 into the south, showing up to a tenth, maybe up to a quarter of an inch. And largely, I think this potential is coming toward the end of that time frame, going toward the end of next week. So still dry for several more days. And you'll notice the chance of precipitation really comes for those that don't need it necessarily. We would love to keep the precipitation coming in southeast Nebraska, don't get me wrong, but there are many areas across the state that are in at least moderate drought, if not severe drought. I wanted to show you some of those areas did expand, especially for northeastern Colorado, portions of western Nebraska, and maybe southwestern Nebraska too. Not a whole lot of change in eastern Nebraska, but the area of severe drought out west has expanded along I-80 through Sidney, Cheyenne County, down into northeast Nebraska, or northeast Colorado, excuse me. So we are looking at needing a lot of moisture out that way. I know they could really use it. I was showing a graphic last night that much of the sandhills are running almost 2 feet, if not more than 2 feet below average for snowfall, but we don't see a lot of liquid equivalency in snowfall and throughout the winter months. We don't usually expect to make up drought conditions within the winter time. So we're hoping the spring is wet for everyone so that we can improve some of these drought conditions, though I will say much of February at this point is looking rather dry, or at least, again, in the near future, without looking too far ahead. Your Schaefer's Lincoln forecast as we go ahead in time. Tonight by midnight, temperatures will be around 41 degrees, a light wind, again, mostly clear, very mild, still talking about a 41-degree temperature reading at midnight. And the airport may be reading a little bit cooler than this, but most of us here in Lincoln, you were looking at just a little bit ago, we're still in the 50s across town. By 7 a.m., because some of that cloud cover is moving in, I think we will cool to the upper 30s, so it should be a rather comfortable start to Friday. Very mild start to the day with a north wind around 5 to 15 miles per hour already, but increasing as we go ahead in time throughout the morning hours, that by the afternoon, I think we could see gusts as high as 25, 30 miles per hour, similar to today. That may come back again on Saturday as well. So a string of some breezy days along with some of this mild weather, but tomorrow is not expected to be as warm as today whatsoever. The cloud cover is going to limit how much heating we can see throughout the day, that I think high temperatures will actually be kept in the 40s rather than the middle 60s of today. So it will be slightly cooler, but again, all relative. This is all above average for where we should be in early February. As for your wind gusts, breaking that down within town over the next 24 hours, or at least showing you tomorrow morning through Saturday morning, again, those wind gusts peaking around 30 miles per hour, late morning, early afternoon time frame, coming back again into Saturday morning. So a couple slightly cooler days from where we've been. Again, we had a high 66 degrees today. Got to wrap your mind around that. High temperatures tomorrow will be in the middle and upper 40s because of some of that added cloud cover. So hopefully you enjoyed a lot of the sun coming back. I know I'd seen some people joking about when we get cloudy days like we had, they forget that the sun exists. I don't know. It was nice to see the sun today. I don't know that I ever forget it exists because it is the reason for all weather, but we'll have more sunshine, I think, coming back over the weekend rather than for a mostly cloudy, if not cloudy day, Friday for a lot of us. But because of that cloud cover, look at these temperatures. Some of us closer to 40 degrees for lows into tomorrow morning. Exceptionally warm for the morning time frame. But then you'll see right where I was showing you that the clouds are slipping over eastern Nebraska, that is where those high temperatures tomorrow are kept the coolest, in the lower 40s. We've got lower 60s in southwest Nebraska, still going to be rather nice out to the west. But when you factor in the clouds, a northerly breeze, I think it'll be noticeably cooler for all of us tomorrow compared to what we got to enjoy today. Then heading into Saturday, again, still some cloud cover to deal with, but still warm out to the west. We're kind of kept the same with temperatures in the 40s to the low 50s for a lot of eastern Nebraska, but then the end of the weekend comes with a warm up once more. High temperatures around 60 degrees, if not close to 70 degrees again in some spots. Of course, not having any snow on the ground allows for a quick warm up after we see any cooling temperatures. So by Monday, you look at widespread temperatures in the upper 60s, if not lower 70s. This will be a day where we'll have to watch records, I think, especially for us here in Lincoln. We've got the forecast high at 67 degrees right now. Did I show that right? Did we update that? We updated that. 68 degrees. So we are forecasting to match our high temperature on Monday from the 1950s. So let me change that with you live. There we go. This graphic is now correct. 68 degrees is what we're forecasting. They updated that since I last looked at it, but 68 degrees is the record high for that date. So definitely a record high possible on Monday within the capital city. You'll notice over the next 10 days, Monday is really where it peaks for the warmest temperatures, though I don't think we'll be complaining with any days in the 40s and 50s at this time of the year. Even cooling temperatures beyond Monday don't look all that bad, but some overnight temperatures do slip below freezing. So with our next precipitation chances, it depends on the timing of when that may come into play for what precipitation type we may see. Right now, maybe looking like rain, but we just got to keep it close, keep an eye on it as we get closer to those days to tell you for sure what we're actually going to see fall by the middle and end of next week, which is still a ways away. As for your 10-day forecasts across the state, lower 70s stick out, especially on Monday for Grand Island, Kearney, North Platte, McCook at 73 degrees. Still, a lot of us will be hanging in the 40s and lower 50s throughout much of next week. Your precipitation chances beyond the end of this week and this weekend will start to increase again Wednesday and especially Thursday and Friday. Some are already showing some 40 to 50% chances at some precipitation going into Friday and even early Saturday, early next weekend. But again, still a ways away, and we still have a lot of time for that to change. But overall, the precipitation outlook for quite some time has been hinting at above average precipitation. We just have yet to see that really come to life in what we're forecasting on the 7-day. So this is from the 13th, just before Valentine's Day, to February 19th. So the middle of the month sometime, we're looking at getting some type of precipitation. But the afternoons, even throughout the middle of the month and past the middle of the month, are still looking quite warm. Much of eastern Nebraska highlighted in those darker reds that I think we'll still see temperatures well above the upper 30s and 40s for this time frame, which would be quite mild for us within that time frame as well. So putting numbers to all I've kind of talked about In our 7-day forecast, officially, again, breezy today, tomorrow, still mild though on Sunday and rather warm on Monday. Again, our forecast right now is set to tie the record from 1954. Still mild for your Tuesday, but then we slip back into the 40s. Again, I'm not complaining by any means with this 7-day forecast. A lot to look forward to in my frame of mind. But I do want to say, as you can see, we introduced those precipitation chances by Wednesday and Thursday. Those overnight lows are slipping below freezing again. So even if we were to see any rain during the day, there could be some freezing at night. If it's falling at night, maybe complicated enough that we get mixed precipitation to fall, and things like that. So not sold on it being fully rain chances at this point, but again, keep it tuned to 10/11 as we continue to hammer out these details throughout the weekend and early next week with our Severe Weather Center team. Again, share some love with my friends Brad, Bill, Brandon, and Carmelo on this National Weather Person's Day. But really looking forward to this weekend, especially the end of this weekend and early next week. Gosh, I am also a proponent, I will say this is my little rant before I leave you, is that with the Super Bowl being on Sunday, I think the next day should be a national holiday. A lot of us enjoy watching football, or if you don't, maybe you find enjoyment in a social atmosphere, and a lot of people, I'm sure, hosting parties this weekend, or you're tuning in for the commercials and the halftime show. There's just a spectacle about the Super Bowl, and Monday, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, hint, hint, would be a good day to play hooky or really just really wish that we had a national day holiday after the Sunday. So that's my little rant for tonight, but I am a meteorologist and can't make those changes for us, unfortunately. But I hope everyone has a great weekend, a great end to the week on Friday. Again, we are heading out to Maxey and Roper Elementaries tomorrow, so look forward to me sharing some of those photos. If maybe some of your kiddos are included in those school visits, Carmo and I will be out there enjoying that, and we'll feature some of those photos on the 4 o'clock, and then again with me and our nightly streams we've been doing at 8 o'clock throughout the week. Of course, Brad will have the latest forecast at 10 o'clock tonight, and then Carmelo will take it over the stream, as well as really a lot of the forecast duties over the weekend as well. So, of course, we'll be staying on top of all things weather for you. But until next time, we hope everyone has a great Thursday evening.
1011 News is everywhere. Download